meow, 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 meow. She made me, okay? But hi, hello, and welcome back. Welcome back to Each Other's Soulmate, everyone. This is the Halloween edition because guess what? This episode is dropping on Halloween. However, we know that's a Thursday, and we just dropped an episode on Monday? Was it Monday or Sunday? Oops. Oh well. We're trying to get caught up. It's been a real funky lately. We know that. We've loved the patience. So, but we should be back to normal starting next week with episode 12. So, but yes, so today we are going to be doing season 2, episode 11, and that is titled Evolution. So again, another kind of like less erotic title. We kind of have a more serious note going on here. So, yeah. So, just to be honest, like we did also film out of order. So it's always a little interesting when we do that because we're going back and forth. So yeah. So it kind of throws us off a little bit, but it's all right. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get through it. But yes, so again, we are each other's soulmate. We are a Sex in the City broadcast. We are two broads talking about our 4 favorite broads in New York City. But yes, this is the Halloween episode. I am obviously a cat. Tina, what are you?
So I am the woman from the Demolition Lovers, from the album cover from 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance. Very specific. If you are watching,
So
this
if you're also
is
not an emo
her.
kid, if you're not
Yeah.
an emo kid, My Chemical Romance is the song with the when I was a young boy. It's that one. That's the band. That's the band with the iconic G note.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
they're my favorite band. They were back when I was 13. They still are, and they probably always will be.
Hell
So,
yeah. I
yeah.
sent you a meme earlier today and there it was Gerard Way and it was said, "Oh, I love Michael Romance."
Bitch.
Yes, they said, "I love Michael Romance." Read it.
No, I did. It's
That's
just
so funny.
no, this shit was funny.
I love Michael
That
Romance
was the
too.
reaction that I had verbally that you didn't hear. I just did it again.
That's so funny.
This shit
But
was
yeah,
so
so
funny.
you
But
look
yeah, no.
badass. You look badass. That is an awesome
Thank you.
costume. It is very unique but super clever. Like I love that you did this one. I love that you did this one.
Thank you. I
Looks really
thrifted
good.
this dress and magically
Yeah,
found the
it's like
perfect one.
it's
It's so
perfect.
crazy.
It's
And
perfect.
I got the jug of blood from Spirit Halloween, and as we were
Always.
setting up, was informed that it does stain skin. So we
It's
will
possible
see.
for it to stain skin. I don't know which
We
one exactly you're using, but there is a possibility that fake blood
so
can stain. So
we will see what happens with that, but you know,
fuck it, it's Halloween. It's
yeah, it
Halloween.
is.
It's Halloween. And in the comments, if you're going to comment, please comment what you're dressing up for this year. If you do
Please.
dress up, if you do celebrate Halloween, we would love to know who you're going to be or send it to us in a DM. Nothing freaky, okay? We just want to see costumes.
For real,
Maybe.
please.
I'm like, I'm the
Oh
one
my
who monitors the
gosh.
social media, so just FYI. I'm just kidding. I'm
Oh my
feeling a little
gosh.
frisky.
Meow.
Meow. Oh God, please kill me now.
But
Let's
then
get into the episode.
hell yeah. So this episode revolves around the idea of evolution. We have Miranda in this episode who struggles with honestly disappointing news from a gynecologist, which is always really scary.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Mr. Big will not let Carrie leave things at his place. This bitch is over a year in. She's a year and some change, and she can't leave anything at his place. So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Charlotte dates a man who she isn't sure is interested in women. She thinks he might be gay.
Mm-hmm.
So we will get into that. And then Samantha tries to get revenge on the ex love of her life. So we meet the one and only man that Samantha has ever truly loved and had her heart broken by.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, no, really. So let's get into it. We start this episode off in a gynecologist office, in
Mm-hmm.
between Miranda's legs. And we have her talking to her gynecologist, and she asks if Miranda needs more birth control. So, mind you, Miranda just ended her long-term relationship with Steve, and
Mm-hmm.
so she tells her that she doesn't need birth control anymore because she's no longer seeing a man regularly that she got on it for. So, no, she doesn't need more,
Right.
and she's good, you know?
Right.
And it's just that, like, general kind of like humiliation that can come with going to the gynecologist and having to talk
Yeah.
about certain
I
things.
do feel like not there's like been a I've had a lot of experiences where gynecologists are kind of like naturally very condescending.
Judgmental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and judgmental. Like I've rarely found a gynecologist that I've just felt really comfortable with. Um
But this is like an experience that I've shared as well, just having to explain to them certain circumstances and them judging me on my personal
mhm.
choices. And honestly, like, fuck that. And like, especially with all these laws going on right now around women's bodies,
Yeah.
it's really a difficult time. But anyways, um, yeah, no, Miranda gets some disappointing news from her gynecologist, though.
Mhm.
She finds out she has a lazy ovary. Her right ovary has stopped producing eggs. And, Miranda the next day tells all of the ladies at brunch what happened. And she makes a joke saying that her right ovary has given up, that she will ever get married and have kids. And all, like, that's kind of a funny joke, but all joking aside, too, that's really sad to think that
Oh
she thought
yeah.
that. And, there really is something to be said about the, like, pain that comes with things in your reproductive area not working
Yeah.
correctly. It
Yeah. And especially if it's not like you're like,
it
if you
it
don't
doesn't
always
like line up with the what you wanted to,
right,
you
regardless
know?
when you hear that kind of news, it's still it like that's what I say all the time. I'm like, you have may never wanted to have children, but then like when you might be told, "Hey, you can't have them anymore." Like you can't have them at all, and then you're like, "Oh, I actually like never thought about that option." Like it's very psychologically conflicting,
Yeah,
for some women or people, and so it's just yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Fertility and infertility, like it's such a heavy topic sometimes,
it really
so
is.
'cause you have some people, not wanting to have children at all, and some people literally giving their every last penny to try and have a child. It's the duality of everything is insane when it comes to reproductive health.
It
So
really is. And even Charlotte mentions like she has a tilted uterus.
I do
So
too. I just wanted
is
to
your
throw that in there.
just
We
Charlotte coming out?
That's my Charlotte. Now you know what? That's probably why I was like, I want to be married and have kids. It's because my fucking uterus is like, help. I,
Man, but in this conversation, Samantha tries to get a recommendation for a female gynecologist from her friends too. She meant she says having a man down there without an orgasm and a bill was just too strange for me.
I've
I'm not
loved the majority of my male gynecologists.
I was just about to say like I had one male gynecologist for like years.
Hmm.
I never ever had a problem with him. Um
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that all male gynecologists are built the same
Yeah.
by
They're
any
not.
means.
Not all doctors are the same. Like, that's
No,
the
by any
thing.
means at all.
Yeah.
But I will say I have had a positive experience with one.
Me too. Multiple. I've had like 2 or 3 male gynecologists, like, because I go to a practice where they just like, you see whoever is there, you know, and so I've had 2 or 3 that were like really fucking cool, and I was like, oh, thank God, you know. So there's hope. There's hope. There's some out there. It's, you know, with all physicians, it's kind of like a therapist. I always say that too. Like sometimes I'm like, you have to remember doctors are also like people. I'm like, and you may not get along with their personality, and sometimes that it shouldn't get in the way of your healthcare. But if you feel some kind of way of the way they talk to you, like maybe go find someone else. It's hard. It's hard. Some people don't like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're not the only doctor out there. You know, there's going to be someone that'll fit you a little better. So
Yeah. And oh, speaking of fitting better, um Carrie starts pulling out things out of her purse looking for her wallet and accidentally pulls out a thong.
that's
So
not the craziest thing to pull out of your wallet.
it's not out of like, and it was a big purse actually. It was like
Oh,
a,
okay. Well, then,
you
yeah.
know, and that wasn't the crazy part, but then they made a joke about it. They're like, I don't think this restaurant accepts these as payment, you know? And she was just like, I am spending the night at Big's place later.
Yeah.
And then they find out she doesn't have a drawer at his
Yeah.
place.
You don't even have a drawer.
So, when you're like dating somebody for a while and you spend the night with them pretty often and you're like seeing each other like
You
exclusively,
eventually
probably you eventually
usually get a
develop like a
space.
little space to put your things
Mm-hmm.
because if you're coming over every fucking week or weekend,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, even every day, like you're not gonna want to carry
Yeah,
that
you're
shit
gonna.
around with you back and forth.
Yeah. There's always like pajamas. It's like I gotta,
Yeah.
spare set of clothes in case, like it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a very common step in
I
like
think,
relationships.
yeah. I mean, I would bring my clothes with me to and from, but I would leave toiletries. Like, I would have a
Oh yeah.
toothbrush there, a deodorant
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, stuff like that
Like,
too. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, but, and then another note on that, I feel like that should be acceptable if you begin like seeing each other regularly within like 6 months.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, if
over
you're
a
like
year
yeah, no, if
in.
you're like 4 months in, like it's been some time, if you're seeing each
Yeah.
other regularly that often, like, and you guys are
And
exclusive,
yes, and have
like,
had these conversations, not
yeah,
just like
then
situationship or
yeah, you
something,
shouldn't just expect someone to do that. But if
Yeah.
it's kind of, so
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I have a
yeah,
spare drawer if anyone wants one.
not filled with cat toys.
It is filled with cat toys, but Mama has enough space in this godforsaken room.
I feel that.
Share. She has no sense of personal space.
That's okay. She's cute.
Mm.
But no, Carrie doesn't have any kind of defense for herself from her friends. She's just like, Big is weird about stuff.
Big is weird about stuff. What if I came to you with that shitty ass explanation? Like, why? You'd be like, bitch, like,
And be like,
he's
you're
weird
fired.
about stuff? No.
Which also leads me to think they've had this conversation before.
Yeah, because unless she's like so nervous, she's already like thought about it and like just already stricken it out of her head, you know?
That's so upsetting. But then Miranda and Samantha tell her to stake out some territory. But Charlotte's like, don't. It's good to
Because
remain a creature of mystery.
no, because you know what I also think of in these scenarios is not only like just that you're making space for me. I don't like that you don't have any women's things in your apartment if we've been exclusive for 4, 5, 6 months. Why are you scared to have a tampon? Like, why are you scared to have a box of tampons? Why are what's the holdup here? Is it just the space, or is it because you don't want anyone to know that there's a female in your life?
Yeah.
Because as we
Because,
all know now, sometimes women look for those things when we're at a man's place, typically if they live by themselves, you know, like if there's something in the bathroom that we're like, it's usually a signal.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a really like
Just kidding. I've
girls
never
girl
left a
kind of
fingernail.
like
I've probably unintentionally left fingernails. Unfortunately, they pop off a lot.
But no, that's a really like girls girl kind of like mentality because it's like I'm making my presence known. This guy's not going to get away with this. My favorite one that I've
Yeah.
seen is when they do it in the car and they do it in the visor so that when she
Yeah,
pulls
so
the visor
when
down,
she
it
pulls the
drops in her
visor
lap.
down. Mm-hmm.
So it's like clear
That's
as
so
day,
sad. I mean, it's
you
so
know?
sad though too. Like, especially with the whole situationship thing. But then again, we talk about the gray area, so it's like, oh, well, I guess you can see other people. You know, if that's what this is.
Yeah, right? By definition. But is that ever really how it goes?
Never. I don't know why we
Not
do
that I've
this.
seen
Like,
at least.
it drives me such up a fucking wall. I'm just like, I can't be a part of this. Like, oh God. This
Man,
generation's fucked.
it really is.
Meow.
But no, we have Charlotte actually mentioning she once found another woman's underwear in a man's bed. Like,
Bold. Bold.
he didn't
Either
even wash the sheets in between. Like,
been there. Been there.
and then
Been there.
Miranda mentions that she found a scrunchie in Steve's bathroom while they were dating, and that made me wonder. Because those of you who have seen the movies know, and I'll
Yeah,
leave
but
that at that.
I feel like Steve's place was messy enough to be like homegirl that he brought one time from the bar left a hair tie and like that was that. I
See,
imagine
that,
as a bartender, Steve had a lot of one night stands.
yeah, no, he even says that at one point in the show. He's like,
Right.
"What? I'm a bartender and I'm cute." Um,
Debatable, Steve, but
I
okay.
know,
You are a
but
bartender.
half of that statement is completely
Half
true.
of that pretty much.
Um, and then Carrie mentions that half of her music collection is from old boyfriends. So this is back in the day with CDs and record players and cassettes where, we didn't have streaming. So you actually had physical copies of the music that you had.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's like, I always get that stuff back. And Samantha's like, it's a sexual souvenir.
I
I love those. But yeah,
want to start taking stuff.
you should take their wallet. You remember him forever, and he'll remember you forever.
Shut up. Like, I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
What's a good thing to steal from your whatever is going on in your life? I'm
What
like, I want
what
a
are good
souvenir.
sexual souvenirs?
Su- yeah, I want to
Yeah.
know. We want to know. I wonder if guys do it. Oh, some do. I think I've heard guys be like, "Oh yeah, if I had their underwear, like I kept it." You know, I feel like that's normal.
Interesting. Huh. I love that.
Yeah, I want
Um,
someone to do that. God,
what
no
if
one's
they
ever
have and you
liked.
just don't know that?
No one's ever liked me enough to be like, "I stole your underwear." Sad. I have standards, okay? And my level of obsession with men has been here. I need it here. I'm a Leo. Yeah.
It just reminds me of this Parks and Rec moment where she was like, "Oh, no man has ever offered to commit arson for me." And Donna in the
Yeah.
background's like, "It gets old."
She's a Scorpio.
I love her.
I
Donna
love
for
her
life.
too. Yeah, seriously.
But here we have Carrie in Mr. Big's bathroom.
Here we
So,
are.
yeah, right? So she starts thinking about how if the things we leave behind are the archaeological relics of our sexual history, sexual souvenirs and whatnot, she should be able to leave something at Mr. Big's apartment. This is
Yeah.
her logic. It had to get to that for her to have that logic, but okay. So we see Carrie start to leave things in Mr. Big's restroom. Like she
Little
starts with like
things.
the little hair dryer, then she leaves some tampons, then the
Yeah.
little hairbrush and stuff. Like, and the thing is, it's like not like she's bringing in furniture.
No,
She
these
is
are like
literally bringing in
toiletries.
self-care items.
Yeah, these are just toiletries in a bathroom.
And like a little bit later we see Mr. Big notice all of the things, and she watches him notice, and neither of them say anything,
You're
which I'm
right.
like, fucking communicate. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
just say if you have a problem, fucking say something.
Yeah. And Carrie likes to, she mentions man may have discovered fire, but women learned how to play with it. And I'm just like, or you could just talk to each other.
Yeah, I'm so sick of these fucking games. That just reminds me. So, like, my entire fucking TikTok feed has just, like, lately, it's just like, golly, man. It's just like, women, this is how you get a guy to open up. This is how you do this.
We
This is
want
how
him to
you
open up.
ensure that they text you back. This is how you make sure they do this. I'm like, no, I'm like, no, there is no trickery. There is no this. There is no, they're like, it's basically telling women, let's dance around a man's fucking
Ego.
ego to make sure that they don't leave. And I'm just like, no, just have
I
the conversation.
I'm sorry, but like, can somebody please remind them that like you are the prize, not him.
Yes. I exactly, and then I thank God lately I've been seeing in the comments because I roll my eyes and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, these fucking games, the texting games. I'm like, look, if someone doesn't text me for 12 hours or whatever, and like typically they do, and I'm just like, and then they're like, oh hey, good morning, and nothing happened. I'm like, not my business. That's on you. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh well, I'm gonna text you back 24 hours after so you can like feel my wrath and blah 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 blah. I'm like, no. If you're out doing some shit that like you're not proud of, that's on you. But like I'm giving it to you how I'm giving it. And if you don't like it, if you want to tuck that away, block it, fucking shoot it, whatever. Do whatever the fuck. But I'm not gonna lessen my shit if you don't like me or the confrontational, goodbye. And that's what women need to get behind. Let's just be honest. If you like a guy a lot, tell them. They might leave, but then bye. Let them
Yeah.
make room for the one that actually wants you.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as scaring a man off unless you are a little obsessively crazy, which can happen. And I get it. But
But
like,
then find somebody who's gonna match your freak.
so I find someone to match your freak, exactly. But I'm like, but I'm talking about like genuine shit here. If you're like, hey, I really like you, like I'm just gonna be straightforward. I don't want to dance around this shit. Just do that. If they leave, goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure out your boundaries. Figure out what the fuck you want. Go from there.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, life will go on. They'll figure their shit out,
Always.
and you're gonna continue learning who you are, getting to know
Yeah.
yourself, doing things that make you happy, and being able to live your life the way you want to. Don't fucking bend over backwards for somebody who doesn't truly like you and your authentic self. It's
Yeah. And like,
bullshit.
don't drag it out. You know, you don't have to sit here and wait 2-3 months. You know, like that's a long time essentially to kind of be waiting for an answer. You know, it's one thing to get to know each other and you can do that. You know, that's cool. But it's like, if you want some clarity, get it and get it early as you can. You know, that's okay. It's, yeah, obviously, after, I don't recommend after the first date being like, what are we? Don't do that. But like, come on.
I feel like after like the third or fourth date, you can maybe, right?
That's still a
No?
little too early still. That's
Wait, but
still a
like
little too early.
how? Okay, well, I'm thinking you're doing like a date a week.
That's what I'm, yeah. But even then, like, yeah, that's
Is
hard
that still
too.
too
It
early?
depends. About I would say like, yeah, a month, 6 weeks.
That's what
Definitely like,
yeah.
definitely like the 2 month mark. That's probably like a good judge of like what's going on. If after 2 months, 8 weeks, you see each other maybe once a week, if you don't have any like clarity or whatever, then like they don't want you. As we've learned from our live podcast, from the finale, what did we learn about with men? They know very quickly if they want to be with you. They're like sleeping with you immediately. They're like, we know if we want to fuck you immediately. They're like, but actually having like a romantic interest with a woman, we know fairly soon. They usually say within the conversation. That's impressive. Remember that. All right? Remember that.
Man. But yeah,
Fucking
tired of
games.
the Neanderthals that she had been dating. Charlotte decides to hang out with a friend of hers named Stefan, who's gay. He catered events at her gallery and he was a dessert chef, and they had really good chemistry. They really enjoyed each other's company.
Right
Um,
on.
at the end of the night of hanging out, because like he said that he had bought tickets for something and then the other guy bailed out, so he called Charlotte and asked her if she wanted to come. And they had fun and stuff, and at the end of the night, he asks her if she wants to go out for a cappuccino, but she's like, no, I'm gonna go home, it's okay. And she hails a cab for herself, and he opens the door, and as he's helping her in, he gives her a really sweet kiss on the mouth. um he like kisses her goodnight, like at the end of a date, and she gets into the cab and she has this look of
All
like
confused.
stunned but not upset. Just
Yeah.
yeah. And she even like shifts her glasses, like
Yeah, and that's how you
it's
know for
really
sure
cute.
Charlotte has no like doubt in her mind that this man is not gay because she's wearing glasses.
Yeah. That's like a Charlotte thing
That's a
too.
Charlotte thing.
And
Like, yeah.
yeah, she even tells them like, I didn't wash my hair and I wore my glasses. It wasn't a date. And like, I
Oh,
feel
that's so
her.
funny. That's so funny because lately I feel like every date I've been on, I'm like, I didn't wash my hair and I'm wearing my glasses. I'm not wearing my fucking contacts. But I feel like the glasses are
But
kind of
for
endearing.
everybody it's different,
I know. It's just,
Like
but previously I would make sure I was like to the nines. Like I would be like, I wouldn't wear my glasses. I don't know why. I'm like, I fucking wear them to see all the time. Like I'm tired of hiding that I wear glasses. Now I got that Dahmer special. Someone said they were like Dahmer-esque. I was like, I mean, not really.
it's just because they're square. But yeah, Charlotte asks her friends if he's gay or straight. And like, I
There
don't
could
know.
be middle ground.
Right? But, Carrie, she asked, is he a straight gay man or is he a gay straight man?
Valid.
And we're gonna define these for you because I was confused at first too. A straight gay man is a gay man who can be mistaken for straight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, he can just be mistaken for straight. He doesn't like seem to the naked eye to be gay. And
Mm-hmm.
then a gay straight man is a straight man who can be mistaken for gay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she, it's really funny because they even like to say that this was a like basically like a mutant strain of man that came up in New York City from overexposure to like art and
The arts.
design. And yeah, like I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Sweetheart, men have been gay. People have been gay since the dawn of time. People have had
And
flair since the dawn of time. Like, come on now.
men can appreciate things without wanting a penis inside of them. You know what I
100%.
mean? But anyways, they also tried to decide if he's a gay man in denial. And I'm like, okay.
Or that
Like,
too. I mean, there is, okay, like, let's be real. I feel like there are some people who kind of like suppress their sexuality, at least being open with it for whatever reason. But it's like,
yeah.
I feel like they are trying to live the life the best they can. But yeah, there might be some denial aspects to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I experienced that quite a bit with certain people. So
Yeah.
yeah. And the older you get, that's what I've learned so far. I'm like, I feel like the older you get, the more privy you are to be like, this is who I am. You know, like especially lately, what I've been seeing is like men in their 30s. Men in their 30s tend to be like, you know what? Maybe. And I was like, kudos, dude. Kudos. Do it. Do
Yeah.
whatever makes you happy.
No, seriously, please. But yeah, no, they're just so confused about this guy. Just very much just confusion all over. Like, is he gay, straight? What kind of gay, straight? And then we we see Miranda slip a pill real quick, and Samantha's like, "Are those recreational? Because these drinks just aren't doing it for me tonight." Which I love her. And
Hell yeah.
Miranda says no, that she's actually currently trying to jumpstart her ovary. So she's taking hormones for her gynecological situation.
Yeah.
And Charlotte is like, "Oh, I think my mom is taking those for menopause." And Miranda's like, "Why does she have a tilted uterus too?" I'm like, bitch.
That's a little rude.
It was. I thought so too.
Because a lot of that stuff is interchangeable. So,
Yeah. But, Carrie tells them she's leaving. Wait, I'm sorry, that she's starting to leave things at Mr. Biggs. She tells
mhm.
them about how she was putting things in the bathroom and stuff, and she even pooped at his house for the first time.
After a year and some change,
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get it.
I
I
get
get
it
it.
too. I get it
But
too. But
a year and a
also
half,
a
like almost
year
a
and
year and a half.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like it has to be done at some
Uh,
point, especially for as much as you've been staying over there. And like public bathrooms aren't like that. I wouldn't think that they're like that crazy accessible in New York. Like public restrooms, because I feel like a lot of places are like, you need to be a fucking customer to be able to use our bathrooms if we even have one.
that's true.
It's not like you can just run into fucking McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
she's just yeah, I guess she just doesn't poop. Or she wasn't pooping before. Um
Girl.
And it's kind of like, how long does it take you to poop at somebody's place?
I have to be desperate. Like I I have to be
Like, that one's for
desperate.
the audience too. Like, how
I
long
feel
does it
like
take you to poop at your new significant other's place?
if you can like, because like I always have to like, oh god, I'm not gonna reveal my secrets, but like
What are you?
if I like, it's easy to do it like if you're gonna shower, you're like, oh perfect, because then like there's extra noise, whatever. So it's like if you're at the point where you can like shower at your person's place, like
But
might as
like, what
well.
if what if they want to come shower with you?
You lock the door.
Lock them out, get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's
Oh
like
my
privacy.
god.
You want privacy during a shower, so
That's true. But yeah. I'm sorry. But Charlotte calls it the end of romance.
Charlotte, please God.
And she's like, I would never do that. Like, because they call it a number two. They don't say poop. So she's like, I would never do a number two at a boyfriend's house. And Samantha's like, you're so
Ever.
uptight. You would need to do a number seven. Oh my god.
Oh God, yeah.
And then Samantha's
Yeah.
also like, that's why I date rich. So there's more space in the
There's more
apartments.
bathrooms.
There's more
Yeah, and
bathrooms.
more space too.
And
That's
well,
that's fair too. Yeah.
And then while they're talking about it, a bartender hands Miranda a drink from a man across the bar. And
Uh-oh.
we, yeah, uh-oh, we meet Dominic. And we find out that Dominic is the one and only man that Samantha has ever truly loved. The man that was able to break her heart.
That's crazy. After 40 something years, you got one man that, well, that's not the craziest thing. So,
No, it kind of sounds like it might have happened like in her 30s.
yeah.
Because it seemed like it happened like quite a while ago because it says that he had dumped her, he wined and dined her, so they dated for a while. He set the expectation for hot sex, but then dumped her and then married an Icelandic supermodel named Anka. And
What a story.
yeah, and then they also go to say that he was once like a really well renowned for his like financial abilities. He'd fallen to tabloid level like news because of his messy and public divorce with Anka.
With the model. Okay.
Yeah, so like people were literally reading in tabloids about how his divorce was going. He really wasn't as respected as he once was in his field.
Interesting.
Um, so that's to say, like, a lot of time has passed since they
Right.
dated, which is why I'm thinking this was the love of her life in her 30s.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
and Samantha goes to go say hi, and Miranda's like, after what he did to you? And then I'm sorry, that's when we find out that he broke her heart. Sorry, I jumped the
Yeah.
gun a little bit. And Samantha says it's ancient history. I'm the one with the power now. I've evolved past him.
Mm.
We always like to think that.
We always like to think that. I don't know. I think you do get to a point. I think some people get to a point after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, but it's like they say the opposite of love is indifference. So if you were truly over it, you may have like accepted the drink, but then left it alone.
I
Because
guess.
I'm just thinking free drink. That's it. It's like, hey, but then you like leave it alone. You don't like go and say hi, hang out and stuff, and like,
You can hang out, but you can be civil.
yeah, I can see that then
Yeah.
if everybody's cool. But
Yeah.
yeah. But we see Carrie and Mr. Big at her apartment later that night, and Mr. Big brought her a little gift bag, right? It's full of all of the little things that she left at his apartment.
Oh my god.
So let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that this man grabbed a gift bag and stood in his restroom, pulling her things out of his restroom, putting it into a bag, and then took it with him out the door.
Mr.
That's what that
Big.
means. That would hurt my feelings, like a lot.
But that's what I'm saying too. It's like it's not getting in the way of your like activities of daily
No,
living
because they even like they did this really cool like scene where they showed you of an image of them through his like little
through like
medicine
the medicine
cabinet.
cabinet. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had a lot of space. And even when all of her stuff in there was in there, it wasn't that crowded
Yeah.
either. Like
He just
it
probably didn't want the thought of Carrie every day.
something, honestly. And she
Or
take
he doesn't want any trace of a woman.
yeah. She starts to put the stuff away, but then kind of stops and goes to him and is like, I meant to leave that there.
Hmm.
He's like, why? She's like, I need these things to be able to be comfortable. I don't want to have to carry them with me every time I come to and
Yeah.
fro because like, we're in San Antonio. We live in a city that you pretty much need a car to have a very
Yeah.
active social life. And in a vehicle, you can throw your bag in the trunk and go
Oh,
to
I
and
have a
fro.
whole fucking life and a whole closet practically in my car,
You
you
know,
know.
she lives in New York City. She doesn't drive a, she doesn't own a car. What she
Mm-mm.
has in her bag is what she has with her.
Yep.
So she quite literally is having to like take this bag to and from his place. And that
Yeah, I would
sucks.
complain about a duffel bag once a
You
weekend, you know, and
know?
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, dude. And she tries to like throw like throw it in his court just a little bit. She's like, you can leave things here too. It's not like a one-way street, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
he's just like, I don't want to leave things here.
Yeah.
And he's doing that whole like, you didn't do anything kind of thing in this
Yeah.
scene, in my opinion. Oh my God, is that a feather?
Yes, so if you
The
guys will see, not in this
Yeah,
episode, well, the next week's episode, I'm wearing something with a feather or feathers, and
pink feathers.
they're all over. I think it's on my lash. They're all over. No, it's right here. They're all over my room, and like they're bigger feathers, but like the teeny tiny little feathers came off and they're floating everywhere. I'm literally finding them on me at work. Like, I'm
That's
like, how did you
amazing.
even get here? There's
Who
little feathers
invited you?
everywhere.
But Carrie turns the situation around and asks him what he wants, which, mm. And you know what he says to her? He says, I don't know. Let's save an hour. Why don't you tell me what I want?
Oh my god. He's so like,
Not serious about her.
no. He's
He
literally
plays
like,
stupid.
he's like, all right, let's cut your fucking nagging shit I have to deal with. What?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And then you wonder why. I'm like, why? I wonder why he keeps Carrie around. Well, I mean, with the whole situationship thing, you wonder too, because I'm like, do you even like her?
My theory is that he enjoys being written about. His love life is in the New York, what the New York Star. And not only is it like his love life, but it's this woman who's desperately in love with him. And he's seen in
I
public
don't
with
think
Carrie.
I don't think he's like that though. I don't think his ego resides there.
I don't know. Because we do find out that he does read them.
He does. He does read them, but
And I do kind of think that like that kind of like
you know what?
attention.
You know what? I think he just wants the companionship. Like a
I
lot of
mean,
men. Men, regardless if they really, really like a woman or not, they like having one around. It's companionship. We have sex, we eat together, we enjoy things together. It's a companion. Men like
and
having
Carrie
companionship.
and Carrie is like willing to play his games.
Right. For
Yeah.
companionship on her end
Yeah.
as well. It's to have someone there at a certain capacity. It may not be the realest thing, but someone's there. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people get complacent with that.
And speaking of that, you know what he tells her? That he wants like because she says, "What is the ideal living situation for two people in a relationship to you?" And he says, "Exactly what we have. I have my place and you have yours. We're together when we want to be, and we're apart when we want to be." Doesn't that sound like a situationship?
No.
No?
Uh
What would
well
the difference be?
well, I think you can be in a long-term relationship and still have your own places. I actually the more I go along, I like that idea. I've lived
Well,
with a lot of people, and it's hard. I like the
okay.
idea of having separate places, even
Well,
while
okay.
dating.
That part wasn't the part that I was focusing on so much as the second part. which is why I compared it to a situationship. The part where he says, we're together when we want to be and we're apart when we want to be. Is
Yeah.
that not the definition of a situationship?
I just thought he meant like space, like your actual physical space. Like they could have moved, like we're a year and a half in, they could have easily moved in together.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I have my literal own space and you have your literal own space. Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the way
But
I see it. But this is someone who also, I'm someone who greatly values my like own space and alone time too. So I could be
yeah.
biased.
Yeah. Well, that actually kind of leads to the next part where Carrie's wondering, like, is her view of what she wants in a relationship, is that going extinct? This like expectation to fall in love and move in together and to like, you know,
Having the same thought. That's
you
crazy.
know,
I'm having the
yeah,
same kind of thoughts. And it's not just with one person, it's like just the whole climate. The whole climate of
yeah,
what's going on. It's like one person isn't doing this for me, but it's like just the entirety of just the situation of what dating is and meeting people. It's like kind of lose because you also hear the stories of others and you're just like, it's not looking hot. It's not looking hot out there,
mm-mm,
you know? And so then you do wonder like this ideal that I have, not even so much ideal, but just this like, you know, this want that you see other people have, you know, and get to experience. You're like, oh, like, when the fuck's it my turn? Like,
yeah,
Carrie's 34.
oh
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, in the
I could
grand scheme of things, she's still young, but like,
right. But you know, I mean,
yeah,
that's some time to like be an, you know, you're established older, you know, older woman, but a woman and you're like, I haven't had any kind of luck,
yeah,
any
yeah,
kind of progress. This is Carrie's most like important serious relationship ever and like she's like, well, what the fuck? But she's also kind of settling for this too. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's
but
rough.
yeah, but that's a good question though. Are people are evolving past relationships?
Look at us now. Look at us almost 30 years later and look at what happened. We are in the dawn of fucking situationships and I do not foresee it changing anytime soon.
Yeah,
Look, mama got pissed. She got pissed. She literally said, meow. She was pissed. Thank you, mama. We share the same pain because she wants a dad. What? I am a single cat mother. Okay? Right now, I'm just a single cat.
meow.
Meow.
Man. Well, we have Carrie and Samantha eating ice cream and walking around New York City. Honestly, so cute. Um, and we have Samantha saying, relationships have declined ever since women left the cave, looked around, and said, this isn't so hard. That's one of my favorite lines of the show.
I love all the. Oh, well, we're talking evolution. I was like, duh.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I love all the comparisons between like Neanderthals. Like, you know, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, no wonder. That's also one of my favorite. I'm not going to say that. That is one of my favorite insults is when someone's like, you fucking Neanderthal.
Same. Oh my
So,
God. Fucking same. But oh, and then we have Carrie like, so you don't need a man, but do you still want one?
of
And Samantha's
course.
like, of course. Oh, honey, I want more than one. And then she's like, I can't tell if you represent our future or our demise. And Samantha's like, the future. Seeing Dominic reminded me of how needy I was and how far I've come. We're going out Friday night. I feel like this is a conversation I would have with you.
Hell yeah.
And then Carrie's like, he treated you like shit, and it took you a year to get over him. Why are you going out with him? And she's like, because he treated me like shit.
Yeah.
And And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm leaning towards demise. And she's like, it's called revenge. I'm gonna make him want me and leave. Drop him like he dropped me. Carrie's like, as
Well,
long as you have a
yeah.
plan.
I'm not into the whole revenge stick thing. Like, that's boring. It's like, that's old. But I'm just like, I wouldn't mind just being like, oh, if you're single, I'm single. Like, we could catch up if it all
It was,
ended on good
yeah, no,
terms,
it
you
was
know?
that part where it's like seeing him is like reminding me of how far I've come. We're going out Friday night. I thought that part, not the she would do
Yeah.
like shit
Not that,
part.
yeah, I'm not a vengeful person in the slightest.
No, but no, Carrie's like, as long as you have a plan. And Samantha's like, not only a plan, I have a dress. And did she ever? That dress was fucking
That was
nice.
nice.
Yeah, like it's backless, it's black, it's tight, and it has that, what is that called? Where it's like it goes all the way down, like
Oh, there's like,
like
no,
a
it's like
deep V.
a deep V. Yeah.
Yeah, really deep V. And her hair is like Marilyn Monroe-ish, like with the curls and stuff. She just looks fucking phenomenal. And she knows it. And he tells her how beautiful she looks and also compares how well and beautiful she looks with how bad he's doing, which I found interesting that he like directly compared it.
I feel like a lot of men who struggle with insecurity and self-esteem issues do that.
Yeah,
I feel like there has to be some kind of balancing act.
yeah. And he even tells her that his wife is taking everything. And he's just like love bombing her all over the place too. It's like kind of
Again,
weird. Yeah. And I don't think she's picking up on it because she's flirting right back with him. And she's like, I read in, one of the tabloids that she got the sailboat. And he just mentions how, we did have a lot of fun memories on that boat. And she's like, you and Anka? He's like, you and me. She's like,
oh God.
I know. I'm just like, I love her, but shut the fuck up.
Well, it's sad too. I'm like, we never see Samantha vulnerable a lot, you know. So when we
Yeah.
do, it is interesting. This is her one and only love of her life, you know. So
Yeah. And I just wish they would have given him more personality. I don't
yeah,
feel
he
like he
seems.
was very.
However, you have to take into account, like after his life got ruined via tabloid, he's probably not the sparky guy he once previously was with her.
That's true.
So
That's
he's
true.
probably devoid of a lot of his personality because of his downfalls currently.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have Charlotte and Stefan. They are hanging out again, and this time they are in his kitchen. And he has a really nice kitchen. He obviously does really well for himself. He lives in Chelsea and he's a baker. And he has a kitchen like a baker. Like he has a bunch
It's
of
like
stainless
restaurant
steel.
grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
would think so,
that's
is that
like,
his being his career, like, you know, he did a lot of cooking at the house. So
I mean, yeah. But what I find impressive is how much of a kitchen he has for a New
yeah,
York
it's
space.
huge. Yeah,
It's
it's
fucking
huge.
huge. Like his kitchen's like as big as my kitchen, and I live in Texas.
Yeah.
Like it's impressive. Um, but and it's fully stocked. He's got like appliances, he's got kitchen tools everywhere, like different cooking tools, and he has a lot of fresh produce out. It's like really nice.
I would think so. I mean,
And
that's his like profession.
no, I know. It's just like I'm emphasizing how nice it is.
Oh,
Emphasis.
okay.
Uh, and yeah, he offers her a taste of what he's making, and he's like, "It's Martha's recipe." And she's like, "I love Martha's." He refers to her as Martha, and that's it, you
Well,
know? And then Charlotte mentions he has the placemats that she had been eyeing at Bergdorf's. Like, he has them already.
Charlotte's
And
in
then
love.
well, she's like seeing all of these as signs that he
Yeah.
might be gay,
Yeah, no, I
and him
know.
liking Martha Stewart because, like, this was like OG Martha Stewart. This is
Oh
before
yeah.
she was like cool and like friends with Snoop Dogg and stuff and went
Yeah.
to jail and was like a true like, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. This is back when she still had that like wholesome, very much like mother, wife in the kitchen
Yeah,
kind of
good
vibe.
housekeeping. Yeah.
Yeah. And they begin kissing after a point, and then he stops her to ask if her dress is Cynthia Rowling. Like he knows the designer of her dress, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's like they think that an overexposure to these kind of cultures and stuff is what leads to men suddenly wanting another penis within them. Like,
Yeah, hey, that's
I don't
hard.
know.
These are very specific interests, though. Always to each their own, but
To each their own. I don't know. I feel like enjoying Martha Stewart's recipes is a far reach from wanting a penis to enter you or like wanting romantic to spend a romantic evening with a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can enjoy that stuff and still want the presence of a woman romantically.
okay. It's just
Or, you know what?
it's the amount. It's the amount.
It's
It's the
like stacking
amount.
up.
Yes.
And
And
the
there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I don't care what the fuck you want or do. I really don't. I could care fucking less. But it's just like those are just typically, you know, uh that's a lot of interest for a straight man to have that are particularly feminine. You know, it's a lot.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just a lot. It's definitely more than the norm. I've only ever really seen guys like maybe get into like bullshit TV, you know, around me. Like they'll be like, "Oh, so but like that bitch, like what's happening with her this episode?" You know, like they start to get in, you know, and
Yeah.
then they start asking questions and stuff. But yeah, as far as designers and stuff, good luck.
Being able to like tell you who it is themselves, like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah. Well, next scene, we have Samantha and Dominic in bed.
Oh
And
geez.
Samantha gets Dominic to bed, and finally, right? And it's at her place. And this is something subtle that I didn't catch until like the fifth time I watched this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But she asks him, "So do you want me?" And he doesn't say yes. He says, "Do I want you?" Question mark. He doesn't
And he
say
didn't say
yes.
anything.
No, that's what he says. He repeats it back to her in the form of a question.
Yeah.
I feel like that means something, but that's just me. Um, but remember the whole plan of her meeting up with him and hanging out and stuff was so that she could dump him right as they were about to make love.
Right.
But
Right.
that's not,
But now
that's not.
no, now she sees herself getting enthralled once again.
Mm-hmm. And she thinks to herself how she waited years for this moment. What's another 2 hours? And the camera pulls back and we get to see more of her bedroom. And like, I just wanted to talk about it for a sec. She has a
Hmm.
really pretty room. Like,
She's a nice room.
she does. She has like grand, heavy furniture with like dark wood. And she has a lot of like dark browns, reds, and creams in
Mm-hmm.
the color scheme of her room. And then above her headboard, she has a mirror that is angled so that she can see
It's
herself.
very regal,
It's very regal.
which is why she's a Leo.
Yeah. But
But
the
yeah,
mirror is angled downwards so that she can watch herself have sex.
I want one. Not that I
That's
have a
so
shit
cool.
ton of
And
sex, but
it's so funny because like you think like she definitely hired someone to do that. She was like, I want that mirror right there,
oh,
angled like this.
absolutely.
And that also makes me
Absolutely.
happy.
That's like me wanting a pole put in here, man. I got a little bit of room.
Man. And then the
Mom and I
next
gotta start paying these bills. Teach her how to pole dance.
somebody come get her.
Exactly.
Oh. And the next morning, Samantha calls Carrie to tell her what happened, and it's really cute. I love this scene because it reminds me of us.
Oh, goodness.
And then Samantha's like asks if Carrie was with Big because, she couldn't get a hold of her. She's like, "No, my relationship is currently at a standstill. I was out shopping." Like, also, mind you, the outfit that she's wearing is like, personally, I would wear it myself. I think it's cute. But like, I want to take a side note for the people who've
Mm-hmm.
watched in the future of the show, like if you've already gotten there and heard some of the commentary Carrie's had for certain people's outfits in the show, I want y'all to remember this outfit. She's wearing basically a fishnet shirt with like giant holes in it and a literal bra, like a padded bra underneath it, and that's all for her top. And
Mm.
I don't mind it. I like it a lot. But that outfit specifically always comes to my mind whenever in the future in the show she takes moments to make other people feel bad about what they're wearing. That is all I have to say about that. But yeah, no, she's like at a standstill in her relationship. So she's shopaholicing and trying to like reinvent her look, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Samantha admits to Carrie that she slept with Dominic, and Carrie's like, that wasn't the plan, you know? And
You know what?
Samantha,
Plans change.
that's what Samantha says. And she's also like, I can't believe I thought he was so good. I'm better than him now.
Girl. Duh.
That's must be a powerful feeling. And after they hang up, we see Samantha in her bed and she's just like soaking it up. And they mention that in order to survive 2 decades of dating in New York, Samantha had become a powerful hybrid. She was the ego of a man trapped in the body of a woman,
Oh, I feel that.
which honestly goals,
I feel that.
you
I
know?
feel that. Having a lot of like, it's weird. Like, I was just explaining this to someone. I was like, I know what the fuck I am. I like, I know what I am, what I bring to the fucking table, you know? And I'm like, but with that, I am also very deeply like have bad self esteem issues because I like the duality works for me, okay? But once you have that realization and you have that self assurance of like, look, I'm me, this is what I got going, these are my positives. Once you got that, and then people can't vibe with it, you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Why can't we just be the coolest fucking people ever and vibe together? You know? You
For
know?
fucking real. For
You
fucking real.
know?
That'll like, you know?
Yeah.
Mm. But some people have to learn the hard way,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Uh, oh, so next scene, we have Charlotte who invites Carrie and Stanford to Stefan's Bakery. So Charlotte is, oh my God. So, like, little side note. So, you know how we ended the last scene where they say that Samantha was the ego of a man trapped in the body of a woman?
Mm-hmm.
They say that Charlotte was scared that Stefan had the ego of a woman trapped in the body of a man. The duality of it, you
That's
know?
the duality. Yeah.
And maybe not necessarily like a man trapped inside of a woman kind of thing, but like I feel like a certain sense of like a woman who carries traits that are traditionally masculine versus a man who carries traits that are traditionally feminine. I I don't know. I feel like that's a lot more common nowadays than it was back then, I guess.
Yeah.
Like not so I feel like everything was so binary back then. Like it's
I was
like,
just gonna say, I'm like,
you
I feel
know?
like we've had such a like notable increase of like the awareness of like non-binary and however you identify, and I feel like a lot of people more often than not just like they just, and then there's a lot
Yeah.
of like people, like the style is, and then just also like the style right now is like kind of like just androgynous, if like that's probably not the best word for it, but it's like it's almost like gender neutral, but like slightly androgynous, so everyone's just
Yeah.
kind of like
And
vibing with whatever.
I feel like the mainstream awareness of emotions and feelings and whatnot being within a spectrum,
I was just about to say,
that
like gender
is
fluidity
like,
also.
yeah, I feel like the introduction and the mainstream awareness of things being on a spectrum has greatly increased the appreciation of that knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
it's not binary, it's not nobody is this or that, you know? Maybe they're
Yeah.
99% one or the other, but like, I don't know.
I don't
But
know how that personally works. I think it's fascinating. I think seeing like
yeah.
like gender fluid people, I'm always just taken a Mama's going crazy. I'm always just taken aback by like how you can have these kind of like not personality but just personas of who you are and how you feel and just kind of like whip it out whenever you want because that's how you feel. I think that's fascinating. I'm like, shit, it took me 28 years to get this face right. Like fuck, I can't imagine look like more. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I could see that. I've always considered it rather than like jumping from one thing to the other, more so just like feeding onto the things that like feel right and they
Yeah.
just so happen to blur the lines. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That,
Yeah.
but
I've heard it
I've
like can change.
also,
Everyone's different though, because they're like it can change daily.
yeah,
They're like I can
and
flip
I've heard
flop,
that
just
too.
depending on the day.
I once had somebody tell me to refer to them as the gender that they were dressed as that day.
Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes I was genuinely like,
Curious. You're like, what is
I had to
it?
put critical thinking into it because I'm like, that looks feminine, but that looks masculine, but that looks feminine, but that
Yeah.
looks masculine,
At that point, you're just
you
your name.
know?
I'm just like, what do you want me to call you? Like, I'm just gonna call you something. And half the time,
So I
if
don't
you
want to
don't
get
got
it
anything,
wrong.
I mean, it's gonna be, hey buddy, hey pal. Like that's what's coming out.
I feel that.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm like, hey, you.
Yeah, when I don't know, I keep it gender neutral.
Always. It's really not that hard.
It really isn't.
I actually feel like that's naturally the way I've always spoken. I'm like them over there. Plus I get weird with like naming people and I'm just like, hey, you, she, he, like that freaks me out. I'm just like, hey, person? Yes, you? Come
Meet up.
hither. Yeah.
But yeah, no, back to this. Uh Charlotte invites them to help her figure out if he's gay
Yep.
or not.
I would do the same
They
thing.
they're there like
I would
judging
do the
him
same thing.
and
Not like judging, but I just be like, hey, what's
Mm,
your opinion on this?
yeah. And the first thing Stefan comes in with like a tray of desserts to the table that Carrie, Stanford, and Charlotte are sitting at. And the first thing he mentions is that Carrie changed her hair. And we find out that he's seen her column. He's probably read her column before and
Yeah.
has seen her natural hair enough to know that she was wearing it differently.
Yeah.
Um, and then when he brings them the plate of desserts, Stanford, I never really got this part. Is it like a reference to something where he's like
Mm.
cannolis and cream puffs and tarts? Oh my.
He's just saying like it's like the Wizard of Oz, right?
I didn't get the reference. I was asking if it was a reference to something.
No, I
Um,
think it's Wizard of Oz,
okay. Well,
right?
I don't know. It could
I think
be.
the oh my is from Wizard of Oz. Yeah,
And
because Dorothy says something like something and something. Oh my, yeah, it's from the Wizard
oh,
of Oz.
cute. But everybody laughs, and Stanford tries to maintain eye contact with Stefan and smiles at him, trying to see if he can
Mm-hmm.
like flirt with him, and it doesn't work. Charlotte asks Stefan to join them, but he has to go glaze a cake, so he leaves. And when he leaves, and she's handing out the plates to everybody, what?
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, I remembered
What?
it. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, that's the line.
Oh,
It came to
I was
me.
so confused. I was like, when did
It
they
came
say
to
that?
me.
Okay.
The line came to me.
Oh yeah, and he like declined basically.
Yeah.
And Yeah, no, he leaves to go glaze a cake, and then after while he's about to leave, he goes in to give Charlotte a kiss, but ends up like Charlotte goes for the lips, but he kisses her on the forehead. And I feel like this is pretty fair because he's like just meeting her friends and is at work also.
Yeah,
But
I could see that.
also, I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah.
But also after he leaves, Stanford's like, I find him very attractive, which of course means he's straight.
Hmm.
Plus, he's obviously choosing to be straight because he seems head over heels about this one. And Charlotte's like, what if he's gay and he doesn't know it?
Yeah.
And Stanford, okay, Stanford doesn't get so many opportunities to talk about his experience as like one of the openly gay characters in the show.
Right.
And I really appreciate this like little view into his childhood that we get right now,
Yeah.
because he says like, honey, we are aware. You know, I when I was a boy, my father gave me a book about the female anatomy to teach me about sex. I took one look at it and said no.
Not
I
for
love
me.
no. And
Isn't that
Carrie asks,
interesting how you do kind of know at a young age? I do find that, like, that's why I'm like, God, I'm like, no, like, you are literally born that way. Like, I remember liking whoever when I was younger, like a kid. I'm just all like, yes, yes, yes,
I
you
very
know?
distinctly remember I was probably like 4 or 5, maybe, and maybe 6. Um, I had a picture of Avril Lavigne on my wall, and I remember telling my neighbor at the time, I am part boy for her.
Oh, yeah. Or this
Because
when you do the I'm gay for them. I have a girl crush.
I was so little,
Yeah.
and it was probably like the
Process that.
year 2000,
Yeah.
and so I didn't have much access to what gay culture
Yeah.
was, especially growing up Catholic. And so my only understanding is that men like women at the time. So I
Right.
thought that I was part boy in that
Right.
circumstance.
Interesting.
So like kids
Yeah.
know, kids know,
Kids know.
you
I remember
know.
like knowing I knew pretty early, but then I didn't like I guess I like came out as bisexual in middle school. That's like cuz that's when
Hmm.
I was like, no, I know for a fact I don't just like guys, you know. And
Hmm.
so like I knew, and then I didn't realize, I wasn't aware at the time like what pansexuality was, especially cuz I don't feel like it was even really like that much discussed at the time. Um but yeah, I didn't realize like that was an option too, because that's what I always felt was like, yeah, I like women and I like men, but but I also like whoever. I'm like, I don't have a preference, you know. I
Yeah.
predominantly date men, but I don't have I have no preference on anyone. It's fascinating. Someone
Yeah.
said the other day though, and this makes me really happy, and this relates to the episode. So typically, I always ask Tina, I'm like, how come I don't ever get hit on by like chicks? And you're always like, well, you kind of look straight, and I was like, you give off a lot of straight vibes, and I'm like, how? Just
Well, right now,
you
dressed like
know.
a pussy cat, maybe not, but like,
Anyway, whatever. You guys have seen me in the podcast before. But the other day, I was talking to someone that I only met once before. And she goes, "Are you Pan?" And I was like, "What?"
well, yes,
And I
I
was like,
am.
"Yes." And she's like, "You give really big Pan energy." I was like, fucking one of us, one of us. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, that's my first fucking win, dude. My first win at fucking 28 of being part of the
Hey,
community. Now I can finally go to Pride.
is that what's been stopping you? I love Pride. Pride is the one event that I go to that is that big that I always feel safe. Like,
Yeah.
I know that if somebody gets out of hand, like
Oh,
somebody will come in
someone's.
and step in. Yeah.
Oh,
I've
for
seen
sure.
so many stories where drag queens come to the rescue,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah. don't know. I feel safer when there's drag queens around, but that's
Oh,
just me.
100%. 100%.
Back to the story. We have Miranda delivers one of my favorite fucking lines in the fucking series, and I know I say that kind of often, but this one's a really good one. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, so Miranda went on a date with this lawyer named Joseph, and while she's eating, she's kind of staring at his forehead, and it's because he has hair plugs. 90s hair plugs. And she it's funny because he even asks her, like, are you staring at my, my hair
Yeah.
plugs? And she's like, no. And then he's like, it's okay to look, it's actually, starting to fill in a bit. And
That always
Carrie
freaks
meant
me out. It's
Carrie
not very sightly.
I no comment.
Do you, but it looks freaky at first. And like
I
you can't like scratch because you can pull the follicles out. See, I'm gonna get Oscar. It's more than that what they look like. It's that they're so sensitive. You can. Okay.
um Carrie mentions that she had Miranda refused this guy twice already, but because her ovary was
Her
down, she
lazy
didn't
ovary.
she didn't feel like she was in a position to say no.
Girl. Don't
Girl,
start bargaining with yourself
you
now.
know,
Absolutely not.
and it's like you can love somebody with hair plugs. Maybe you can't, but some people can. So he tells her like, you probably think I'm crazy, and she's like, actually, you seem happy.
Yeah.
So like even though she's not like vibing with the plugs, she's still like recognizing that they make him happy, and
And
that's
make him
okay.
feel better. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
I'm not like
And
that's the
that's
end of the day, do what makes you feel good.
so he says like, yeah, I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to get hair plugs, but here I am. And she says like, there are some things that I've been considering lately that I never thought that I would do. And
Mm-hmm.
she leaves it at that. But then he presses her about it and wants to know. I mean, they're on a date, tell me what's going on. And so she tells him about how she is taking hormones and wants to freeze some of her eggs. And
Mm-hmm.
she wants to do this in order to eliminate the biological clock issue.
Right.
So, one ovary stopped producing eggs. If the other one decides to stop producing eggs, she has a backup plan.
That's such a
And
fucking shitty thing to have to like feel the need to do though, which I get now. Do you want to know what's crazy that I just found out this year? The
what?
age limit to donate eggs, and there's a lot of programs nowadays where if you donate, you can store your own for free because storing is expensive. But if you
Hmm.
donate your eggs, you can keep some of yours for free, no charge. Like
Yeah.
hell yeah, twofer, right? If that's something you're comfortable with. The last age to donate is 28. I'm 28. Uh,
Why?
because that's what
Quality?
the quality goes down fast. It does like the viability goes down quite quickly. And and then once I learned it was the age I'm at now, I think after seeing that also like that put something in my head too. It definitely gave me a complex a couple months ago. I was like, what do you mean it's the last year I can donate? I'm 28, like what the fuck? I'm still
Yeah.
young, but yeah, and I
I
was
feel
just
that. I'm
like,
still convinced that if I got pregnant right now, it'd be like a teen pregnancy.
yeah, no, but I even have people in my family suggesting, they're like, I think it's a good idea for you to maybe just go ahead and do it. And I was like, how much hope do you guys have for me to find a suitable partner? Because it doesn't seem like a lot. They're like, you're gonna have to sperm bake it in your 40s, sweetheart. I'm like, oh, okay,
Not even in it.
that's
What?
fine.
You still got like 12 years until then.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. It's not
Uh,
It's not looking hot. They're like,
Okay. Well, you don't want to do it overnight, right?
what do you mean?
I don't know. Like meet somebody and then just have kids with them immediately.
I feel like that's amazing.
Oh God. Okay.
I
I
feel
love,
like
honestly, real quick, you and I we love each other. We've been best friends for fucking 14 years. We are so alike in so many ways and so polar opposite in other ways. And I feel like that's what keeps this friendship alive.
100%. But it's also it's that romantic thing in my brain. It really is like it's that weird hopefulness that I have that like so here's the thing. Things like that happen, right? You get people get pregnant off of one night stands all the time. Like literally all the time. And so I'm like, but that doesn't take away from what the moment was, and it doesn't take away from how your life shapes up too, because you're like, okay, yeah, this happened, it wasn't the most optimal thing, but now I have my children and we have a beautiful life regardless if both parties are involved, right? Life happens
Yeah.
and sometimes you cannot fucking stop it, right? And so but like I choose to live in the reality of, or like maybe the delusion in my brain that like some things like that are possible. Like it was the episode we talked about the whole love at first sight thing.
Mhm.
I I'm still, I think I will always hold out hope for things like that, even though they don't work out all the time for me. I don't know. I don't feel like my hopefulness will go. I feel like it gets beat up a lot when things don't work out for me. That little like that little person fighting in my head, like, yeah, gets beat up by all the rest of my emotions.
They look like this.
Yes. Yeah, that little person is just like, okay, but like they're still like they're taking the beating, they're like,
Yeah.
that's yeah, I feel like that's what's happening in those scenarios. But I was like, dude, like if you meet someone and it works, like it works. Like fuck
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. And then if it doesn't work 20 years later, whatever, then start again. Like I think my mentality is like my life's too short to just dwell in it. Like life happens, let it fucking happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, speaking of life happens, let it happen though. So,
Yeah.
oh my God. Okay, so she says that she is gonna freeze her eggs to eliminate the biological clock issue. And he counters her with, what about all of the other issues it brings up? And she's like, oh, yeah, like such as, and she's open to it. And he's like, do we want desperate women having babies at 50? Maybe some people just aren't meant to procreate. If you ask me, this is a ridiculous abuse of science. And then he ends it with, what if we just eliminate men altogether? And I feel like that is the core of that kind of reaction to it. It's like an insecurity
Right.
that
Because
I'm
I
going to
was
be
like,
useless or something, you know?
right. I was like, she wasn't even saying, oh, I'm just going to be a single mom and get a sperm donor. She's like, these are
No.
my viable eggs. If I meet someone and get married and we want children, I have viable eggs. But I also could use them if I wanted to be single and have a child, whatever. But like this is benefiting whoever in my life.
Yep.
And to hit it with like that's just it's weird. But then obviously this man is super insecure because of the fucking bullshit he did to the top of his head.
And speaking of, fucking Miranda cuts him off and says, hey, I don't need a lecture from someone doing crop rotation on their forehead.
Yeah, Mel Gibson and Signs. Fuck you.
I fucking love that because this man is literally sitting here with this crop rotation fucking hair plugs and looking down on this woman who is literally thinking about fucking freezing her eggs. Like, fuck you.
Love for
Like,
someone to fucking insult me. You know what? A man hasn't insulted me in public in a long time. And I feel like it's time. Halloween's tomorrow.
well, when this airs, it'll be today.
Yes, you're right. Halloween is today if you're listening today. But yeah, anyway. If I have a mugshot next week, you'll know why. I need a fight. Someone take me to a rage room, otherwise I'm gonna get a fight in the strip.
I'll take you to a rage room. Beat up a television or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Charlotte and Stefan who make love for the first time. Are they? Aren't they?
I would have loved to be a fly on the fucking wall.
And she says that she's gonna start to try to stop figuring him out and wants to just like enjoy him. And guess who he puts on to make love? Like, because like, okay, we all actually let's take
It's
a
in my
moment.
head.
Let's talk about this, right? Okay, so whenever I'm gonna have sex, I put lo-fi on.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't want words. I don't want
Lo-fi is
commercials.
my
Just like
relaxation music and like reading
yeah.
music. I have a sex playlist. I don't get to use it often, but I'm a Deftones girly and like a lot of romantics. I'll like Typo Negative up in there. It's a lot of and I like a lot of I don't know, like it's a big mix. If you guys want it, I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
But I personally enjoy having sex with music. Not a lot of people
Yeah.
do, which I found interesting.
What?
Yeah, like lately, like not lately. In my
No,
past
I just mean
in my
like, but
past
no music.
experience in the couple of years, yeah, it's like it's a give or take thing. But I do forget I am very romance heavy. I'm a very like romancer, like I like cinematic moments, like I am big on like that kind of like intensity when it comes to like sex and passion. Like I like that shit. Not a lot of people do. They're kind of like I'm here to fuck.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just don't want it to be quiet when we're doing it.
I don't mind the quiet because then I mean, you I'm not huge into talking, but again, I like the sounds of sex a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought about something.
Get him a flashback.
Yeah, something has been added to the docket and I quite enjoy it. So,
Love.
yeah.
Man. But no. Oh, and then for whoever's listening, I would like to know, what do you put on when you have sex?
Yeah, I actually want to know. I bet you anything, a lot of them are going to be like nothing. Like whatever's playing in the TV. Like,
yeah, how many people don't put anything on for sex?
a lot
How many
of
people have television on?
A lot of
How many
times I
people
think it's
watch
TV.
porn?
I mean, do like remember the whole Netflix and chill thing? Like a lot, it's that whole joke. It's like, oh, it's like Netflix is like, are you guys still watching? And then there's a meme of people like fucking,
I haven't actually
like
seen that one actually.
what? That was like this has been like for the past 10 years.
Oh, sorry, my headphones a little. There we go. Okay.
But yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I know. I'm always curious to see. I always enjoy like if it lines up where I'm like, oh, you like music too? What's up? Like,
Yeah, well,
maybe that's why I like car sex. Because the radio's right there.
yeah, fuck yeah.
It's like guaranteed. Because you're usually already listening to music in the car.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
I'm making all the connections today.
Man.
Meow.
Well, Stefan put Cher on.
Oh yeah, that's what I was banging to. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but I fucking love Cher a lot. Yeah, no, I love that song, and that's the song he plays.
Yeah,
you hear it like it's in the fucking background.
And so they're kissing, and Charlotte just pulls back, and like finally, she's like, "Have you ever been with a man?"
Okay, bold.
Imagine like the person you're having sex with or about to like pulls back and is like, "Have you ever fucked somebody of the same sex?" My goodness.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's not always a conversation. I feel like I always kind of sprinkle it in there.
Yeah.
I like at least mention, I'll be like, oh yeah, when I was with a woman, you know. I'm like, now you know.
And he's confused. He's like, no, have you ever been with a woman?
They're just
Like,
getting
what
to
do you
know each
mean by
other.
that? You know? And she's like, I'm
He
sorry,
can't
but
fucking sit there and act naive.
well, that's what she says. She's like, I'm sorry, but Betty Buckley, Martha Stewart,
Yeah.
Cynthia Rowling, like, are you gay? And I love his response. He says, Charlotte, I am a 35-year-old pastry chef who lives in Chelsea. If I were gay, I would be gay. Like, this man has every opportunity to be an openly gay man in New York City and is not. Like, if he were gay, he would be gay. And
I'm
he,
still not buying it.
okay, Charlotte. Um,
I would think
I
he's
think
at
it's
least
possible.
somewhere on the spectrum of like there there's no dude, I don't know, man. You know what? Just let him be a feminine dude and whatever.
Hmm. I feel like those are the kind of dudes that end up with masculine women.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can kind of see that because, like, for me, I can't. I feel like I'm gonna end. I feel like I'm gonna be mean. I feel like I'll bully you. You know, like I'm like I don't want to be mean to my partner, and I feel like I'd bully the fuck out of someone like that. I'd be
You
like,
really
"Get the fuck
would.
out of here with your cream puffs!" I'm like, just give it to me and go leave.
Speaking of cream puffs, he gives her 2 orgasms.
That's pretty
He
impressive.
gay, straight, I don't know. He knows what he's doing. So next morning, we have Samantha and Dominic, and they wake up together, and he's like, "You're so beautiful," and she starts purring. She
I
literally
can't
purrs
purr,
at him.
but
I can't either. I don't know how she did that, but she
I
does.
think I can. I think I just don't want to do it.
And then he says, "I'm gonna miss you." And
Uh
she's
oh.
like, "What? Yeah." And she's like, "What do you
Oh.
mean?" He's like, "Anka and I are gonna give it another shot. It's mostly financial."
Hoo hoo hoo.
She's like, "You can't do this to me. This is all wrong. I was supposed to do this to you." And he's like, I should go." And she's like, "Get!" She throws a pillow at him.
This is why you should never go for revenge, because it's never
Mm-hmm.
you're not the pearly gates and you're not the judge. I say that all the fucking time. Like, you aren't Batman, you're not the Avengers. Like, no. Just let things happen.
She says, "Stop beating me to the punch."
Oh, Samantha.
I know. And then as she's watching him leave, she realizes that she couldn't do what he did. She hadn't evolved past having feelings. And in a way, that's nice to know.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
that's true.
your heart's broken, but like at least you know you have one.
That's how I kind of feel like right now. Like, I have a lot of these emotions, and I'm kind of like, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. But I'm like, oh, well, at least I like am capable of them. You
Yeah,
know,
you're
as
not
someone who
numb.
didn't, yeah, as someone who didn't think they'd be capable of having this kind of like emotional capacity for another person, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I'm like, it's very heavy. This is the best way to put it. I'm like, I guess this is how you learn, you know. It's
Yeah,
very interesting.
definitely.
Like, having actual like romantic feelings for someone, like, shit, I'm get
Fuck that.
floored. Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like, why did I do this?
The exquisite pain.
Which is next week.
Hmm.
You guys will learn, yeah, the fucking exquisite pain of wanting someone's unattainable.
Yeah. But until then, we have the
Yeah.
next morning with Charlotte and Stefan. So she had 2 orgasms.
Okay. Right on.
That's a great night. That's a great first time with somebody, as far
Yeah,
as
it's
I'm
pretty
concerned.
impressive.
Yeah. And so Charlotte meets Stefan in the kitchen because he woke up early. He's already making her breakfast. She
Hell yeah.
shows up wearing his shirt, which I love.
Oh yeah.
And you know what he's making her? Cranberry buttermilk scones with lemon curd.
Well, he is a pastry chef, so I wouldn't expect anything less.
I know, but like the fact that he's just like doing it. I don't know. Like he's not at work. He doesn't have to. He's being sweet, you know?
No, you get like when you're like a cook or like you have that like cook brain, it doesn't turn off.
What?
When you're with someone who cooks, they cook. And it's not just to appease you, like they cook.
Hmm.
I don't like I was with someone who cooked all the time and it was just like it could have been 3 a.m. and they're like making whatever. And they cook to cook and they cook to feed people also sometimes, but like a lot of times, like, I don't know, I just got fed well. That's all I need to know.
Man. And she says, if I continue dating you, I'm gonna gain 10 pounds. And he's like, you'd still be gorgeous.
All
Agreed.
men say that.
Okay, but
But
like
I agree. But like all
Charlotte
men,
would
I
have
feel
looked
like
cute, thick as fuck.
I agree. I agree.
Like she has that really pretty pear shape.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I could
Oh
have
yeah.
chosen a body type, like if I could have like picked it from a catalog, I would have chosen to be a pear shape. I think they're
Yeah,
so
I
pretty.
agree. I would have loved to have been born with an ass because I feel like if I did, I'd be liked more.
For me, it's the narrow shoulders with the wide hips. I thought that was so pretty.
Yeah.
It's got them linebacker shoulders.
I
That's
have
okay.
linebacker shoulders. I have linebacker shoulders. What are you talking about? What do you
Man
mean?
shoulders. Isn't that what Regina says?
Yeah, but like I'm a big bitch. Like you're petite and precious, like and adorable. You're what, 5'4", 5'3"? Like you're precious. I'm 5'8" of woman. That's a lot. I'm already a lot walking into a room. You know what doesn't help? Fucking the Baltimore Ravens walking in when there's beautiful thin women everywhere. Like it doesn't fucking help, dude. I'm telling you. It's
Mm,
a shitty society we live in.
it truly is. And suddenly they're squeaking. So they're squeaking and they don't know where it's from until they look down at the mouse trap.
It's a mouse.
There's a
I
mouse.
can't
And
watch
he's
this
stuck in the.
scene.
It's a stunt mouse. It is not a real mouse.
I know, but I
It's a
can't. I
fake
still.
mouse.
It's a scene that I can't watch.
Okay, I'll take it from here. Basically, what happens is Stefan starts freaking the fuck out. So he realizes there's a fucking mouse in the trap and he starts like jumping up and down and like waving his hands like and like freaking out. He jumps on a chair and like, oh, no, I'm sorry. He kicks it towards Charlotte for
Yeah.
her to take care of. And then she kicks it back, and then there's this moment where they're both freaking out and both kicking this mouse back and forth. That poor fucking mouse, right? And
Mm.
she just realizes while looking at Stefan in this moment, like, my masculine side is not evolved enough to balance out your feminine side.
Exactly. That's what I struggle with too.
And so she just has this like very clear moment of like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah, this is why this
And
isn't gonna work.
yeah, she just she felt like they were no longer compatible. She couldn't see him the same way. And I feel like he just needed to find a woman who was willing to take care of the glue trap herself.
Also,
You
let's
know?
not have glue traps for mices.
Yeah, actually, can we
They're
not? I know
they're
it's
very they're very inhumane. They make humane traps for little rodents, but glue traps, if I think about glue traps for too long, I will not be well for like a good 2 days because
no.
there's this
So the
meme.
next the
There's a meme. There's a meme where like they're like it's not a meme, but it's like a thing, and it's a mouse stuck in a glue trap, and it's like
it's especially funny you telling us this dressed as a cat. I'm just gonna say it.
No, 'cause I have such an affinity for rodents, and you guys know that. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is I don't know why. I think I told you this. I was like, how come I like rats so much? And then I was like, I'm Year of
Stuart
the
Little.
Rat
Oh.
and Stuart Little. Wait, like, I'm 1996, but yeah, I love cats so much, but I also love rats. It's really funny. But then again, that shows the balance in my life. I'm a very, like, kind of person. I'm like, I take this and I do this, and I take this and I do this. So it makes sense that I fucking love cat and mouse. That's why I don't believe in. No wonder I love Tom and Jerry.
I love Tom
It's
and
like in
Jerry
Baby
too.
Mama, they love each other. Tom and Jerry hate each other. They love each other. They have so much fun together. That's me.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
I
don't
love
use glue
them.
traps for anything anymore. It's very
For the love
inhumane.
of God, please
For
don't.
the love of God. Because I will
Ugh.
cry. Just think of me crying anytime you want to use a glue trap. And then me, therefore, shortly after beating your ass.
Yeah. She'll look like this.
Yeah. That's not makeup, actually. I did that.
Hopefully it washes off. I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
You're gonna
honestly.
be fine.
I want to go to work covered in blood.
You're gonna be fine.
I'll be fine. It's okay. Here we go. Next morning with Carrie and Mr. Big. It's the first time that she slept over since he took all of her stuff back to her house.
Oh,
And it's like,
goodness.
how do you come back from that? Like,
Yeah,
do you
that's
just
hard.
buy like a little travel bag with like little travel
Yeah,
thingies?
you
Like,
just.
deal with
If
it,
you
you
still want to
know?
put up with that shit, yeah.
You know? And so she gets up from bed and he like grabs her and pulls her back in a sexy way. And he's like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, I gotta go." And he's like, "Now," pulls her back again. And she's like, "I have to go home where my stuff is
To get ready for the day,
to
yeah.
get ready for the day." Yeah, she doesn't have anything there with her. She can't get ready. And so yeah, she starts walking around the apartment, like in the bathroom area, to gathering her things, like her clothes and stuff. And she opens a drawer in the bathroom where she finds a photo of herself with Mr. Big. And she's really happy when she finds this photo. Two things. One,
Okay.
the photo's in a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hung up anywhere. And not only is it in a
My first thought.
drawer, it's in like a like it looks like a drawer that's not like out in the house. It's like in his bathroom. It looks like something that's
Yeah, it's
very
a
personal.
personal drawer.
Yeah, it's not something where any
No.
guest would likely ever see it. And it wasn't even out on top. It was
No.
underneath something,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and then two, I'm sorry, Carrie doesn't look the best in that photo. She
Uh,
looks beautiful. It's the angle that
it's
she's at.
because men love the stupid pictures of us.
They really fucking do.
I
They really
had,
fucking
dude,
do.
with my ex, my like long-term ex, the longest time, his fucking screensaver was this picture. I don't know why this picture. I was sitting at the edge of the bed, no makeup, in my pajamas. For some reason, I had a bra on my head and I was pouting. That picture was there on his phone forever. Like, he loved that picture. And I was like, what? Out of all the fucking pictures, I look like such a weird fucking person. I was like, I look like this when I get done up. You want that picture? He's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's always the goofiest pictures,
It
man.
really fucking is. I was taking pictures with my husband a while back, and I was looking through them to figure out which ones to send him, and one of them, I had like bumped myself, so I made a like
Yeah.
face. That's the one he wanted.
I think that they like. I hear them out because I do the same thing. I love the candid. When you like someone, you love that candid shit of them. You love it. I'm the same
I
way. Like,
know, I
I
do.
love it. I do love it. It's just funny because I'm like, I want to look the best, and I was like, if you're gonna show people that, like, I'm like, people are gonna see that, like, no. but and it's like that trend. It's like, oh, which picture would be that's her picture,
I haven't seen
Oh,
that trend.
I
That's
want one
funny.
of those one day again. I think that'd be cute. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine someone liking me so much that they would take a picture of me. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy talk. Yeah.
You deserve
Trenches.
that.
I deserve that. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
And not take a picture of you and put it in a drawer.
Dude, at this point, I'd settle for the drawer. I'm telling you, I'm carrying it up right now.
Oh my gosh. And it's just so she finds the fucking photo and she realizes I don't need to leave anything because I'm already here. And I'm like,
Bitch,
bitch, you
no,
still need
you're
to
not.
brush your teeth.
Yeah, you
You still need
need to have your
deodorant.
things.
You need your hair straightener. You need your fucking like tampons. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And it just, so I guess she's fine with carrying everything around with her still. I guess. She climbs back into bed and everything, and she's just like, it was a small step for mankind, but a really big step for Mr. Big. Cue the pacifier.
Oh my Q pacifier. That's our new
Yeah,
that should be one of our slogans.
cue pacifier, because it, part of me wonders, was it put there
That's what I thought immediately. I was like, did
so
he
she
put it
could
there to
find
shut
it?
her up? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And because he's a lot more like wholesome and old school and stuff, so that's very common of like older like couples too, is like having the Polaroid or like having a picture tucked somewhere because it's very private, and stuff. So I can see why Big would do that naturally, but I can also see why he might have just done it to appease Carrie. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's we don't know.
We don't get a
That's
whole
the
lot from
episode.
him emotionally. So
Nope.
but yeah, that's the end. That is evolution. We talk a lot about how things fucking evolve.
Yeah, and
Um
are we like evolving past things that like relationships in general?
it's like yes and no. Like that's what we talk about. Like a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, you guys talked about the show and dating then." I'm like, "Yeah, but we actually talk a lot about how it differentiates from now and vice
And like
versa.
the stuff that they predicted that came true and didn't
That
come
came
true.
true or didn't. Yeah, I mean we do a lot of just the comparisons and it's interesting. It's very interesting kind of analyzing something from 30 years ago, and this is why we do this and it's crazy, we have this perspective for, where we are now but yeah,
And doing it from the perspectives of two women in their late 20s, one
right.
married, one not married.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we got
It's
some
our
different
angle.
perspectives going on. Always, 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 please let us know your perspectives so we can talk about
Yeah.
those too. Because this is
Yeah.
like a whole entire dialogue about sex. It's meant to open up the doors so
I
you
don't
realize that you're not so fucking weird.
I don't know if I've ever told you this or if I did or not. I had one of my comic buddies come up to me and say that he listens to the podcast so he can get dating advice.
I
Did I ever?
love
I
that.
never told you that, did I? I must have
No.
forgotten. Yeah, yeah. I remember he was like, "No, I listen to you guys because you guys say like, this is how you'd want to be straightforward and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, we talk about at least our feelings personally,
Yeah.
or what we've heard or whatever." And he was like, "Yeah, I take that stuff into consideration when I'm talking to
I
women."
love that.
And I was like,
I
"Oh,
love that. Because, like, I'll never understand why, like, and I'm just gonna throw this as an example, like, why a guy would go to another guy for advice on how to date a woman.
no, literally because like I obviously recently in the past year I've
Like,
been trying to figure out my own shit. The first people I went to were dudes. I was
dudes,
like,
yeah.
"Hey,
If you're like trying to figure out a dude's psychology, why not talk to a
yes." I
dude?
was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Is this
Yeah.
a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What's going on here?" And obviously I'm in this like lovely predicament now of being surrounded by men, not like that. But in the comedy scene, it's predominantly men. And I've acquired a lot of great comic friends and they listen to all of my
Sausage
fucking
fest.
it's a cock fest. And so Not like that though, but we call it a cockfest. You know, it's a bunch of guys. But I've gotten to have all these like badass like friendships with them, and or acquaintances, like and they want to listen to my weird, or they at least put up with my bullshit. When I have questions and shit. But yeah, so I'm thankful that I get the male perspective on things that I wouldn't have really gotten last year. So it's been very interesting. So
Love that.
yeah.
But yeah, tell us what you think. Tell us your male perspective. Tell us your female perspective. Tell
Yeah,
us
we
your
want to
they them
know.
perspective. We want to
Yeah.
know.
We want to know. We always are open to the discourse. And again, we thank you guys so much for sticking along. And
Always.
we are so excited to be getting close to the end of season 2 here. It is flying by like
Mm-hmm.
always. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so thank you again for sticking around. Happy Halloween for those who celebrate and do all
Happy
that fun stuff.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Hope you guys have a safe Halloween and enjoy the episode. And we'll see you guys next week with a guest broad.
Yeah, we have a guest bride.
Next week is our second guest broad, and we're really excited. The episode's already ready to go and it's set up, so we're
And it'll be on
super
time.
excited. Yeah, super excited for you guys to check that one out also. So again, thank you so much. We love you guys so much, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.